The Republican clown show continued today in the Senate when the Senate Judiciary Committee took up the nomination of Pam Bondi as Attorney General for the United States of America. Of course, it needs to be said first that Pam Bondi is fundamentally uninterested in the job. In fact, she does not want the job, as the videos I'm going to show will demonstrate. So if she doesn't want the job, why is she going through the confirmation process? Simple. She wants to remain as Trump's personal attorney while she works in the office of the Attorney General of the United States. She is chomping at the bit to be Trump's personal attorney and go after Trump enemies and anyone else Trump chooses while ignoring the job that needs to be done to keep Americans safe and ensure that justice is served. And Pam Bondi is fortunate enough to have flown under the radar in this process, with absolute circus clowns like Matt Gaetz, Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, and RFK Jr. up for nominations. Nobody had time to take on Pam Bondi. So who is Pam Bondi? Pam Bondi was Attorney General for the state of Florida in 2011. Her office had received dozens of complaints from working people who had been ripped off by Trump University. But in 2011, Pam Bondi announced that her office would not be pursuing a case. And oddly enough, that announcement came after a $25,000 donation to Pam Bondi's campaign account by Donald Trump. And Bondi has been a Trump lapdog ever since, serving as a personal lawyer. Trump is filling the DOJ with former personal lawyers, and we all know why. Because he wants the DOJ to do his bidding, and these lackeys are willing to do just that. Here's Dick Durbin making that very point.
Ms. Bondi, you are one of 4 Trump personal lawyers that he has already selected for top positions in the Department of Justice. You joined Mr. Trump in working to overturn the 2020 election. You've repeatedly described investigations and prosecutions of Mr. Trump as witch hunts, and you have echoed his calls for investigating and prosecuting his political opponents. This flies in the face of evidence, like Mr. Trump's call to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. We've all heard that audio recording. These are the kinds of anti-democratic efforts that in the past you have defended, and it's critical that we understand whether you remain supportive of Mr. Trump's actions. I also have questions whether you will focus on the needs of the American people rather than wealthy special interests. I'm concerned that you failed to identify your extensive lobbying for foreign governments and big corporations as potential conflicts of interest.
And so here we go. Pam Bondi is nothing but a partisan hack. That's it. That's all. That's her only qualification. And then there's worse. As Durbin makes clear, she has more conflicts of interest, and she has failed to disclose that she is a foreign lobbyist. Just a quick note here, that's illegal. Maybe somebody should get the Attorney General to investigate her for breaking the law. So then Durbin starts to grill her on her partisanship. Watch as he asked her about Trump breaking the law in Georgia.
Have you heard the recording of President Trump on January 2nd, 2021, when he urged the Secretary of State of Georgia to, quote, find 11,780 votes and declare him the winner of that state?
No, I've heard about it through clips, but no, Senator, I've not heard it.
What was your reaction to President Trump making that call?
I would have to listen to the tape, Senator.
Well, the quote that I give you is exact. He said to the Georgia Secretary of State, find 11,780 votes.
Do you have the entire context of that call? I feel like it was much longer than that and may have been taken out of context.
It was an hour long.
Right.
And you can certainly listen to it. I hope you will. Every American should.
Okay, so she's a personal attorney for Trump, but she never listened to the call, never was a part of strategizing afterwards, even long afterwards. That's just not credible. So is she lying? Yes, she is. Watch her body language. Watch her head as she answers the question. See it? Right there. As she answers the question with a lie, she looks away. Anyone who was telling you the truth about that particular question would look straight at the questioner. She turns away. It's a classic tell. So here's the nominee lying. What a wonderful choice for the top law enforcement officer in this country, somebody who lies to Congress. Now watch as Durbin continues to press how partisan she is.
That central to the peaceful transition of power in a democracy is the acceptance of the results of an election. To my knowledge, Donald Trump has never acknowledged the legal results of the 2020 election. Are you prepared to say today under oath without reservation that Donald Trump lost the presidential contest to Joe Biden in 2020?
Ranking Member Durbin, President Biden is the President of the United States. He was duly sworn in, and he is the President of the United States. There was a peaceful transition of power. President Trump left office and was overwhelmingly elected in 2024.
Do you have any doubts that Joe Biden had the majority of votes, electoral votes, necessary to be elected president in 2020?
You know, Senator, all I can tell you as a prosecutor is from my firsthand experience. And I accept the results.
And there it is. Typical MAGA response. She ducks the direct question about accepting the results of the 2020 election with the response of all Trump partisans. Joe Biden is the president of the United States. Yeah, thanks. Tell us something we don't know. Only, and I can't believe Durbin didn't press this, that wasn't the question. The question was, do you accept the results? That's a yes or no answer, and she ducked it, putting forward the most outrageous statement of any testimony so far. There was a peaceful transfer of power. You mean after the insurrection failed, it was peaceful, right? Or are you claiming it was a day of love too? And we all know why she's playing this game. If she had told the truth, she would be torched by the MAGA faithful. Her candidacy would be over the minute that came out of her mouth. Even J6 prisoners are starting to accept that Trump lied about the election being stolen. Not Bondi. She's got places to go and people to see. So she just keeps on a-lying.
I accept, of course, that Joe Biden is president of the United States, but what I can tell you is what I saw firsthand when I went to Pennsylvania as an advocate for the campaign. I was an advocate for the campaign, and I was on the ground in Pennsylvania, and I saw many things there. But do I accept the results? Of course I do. Do I agree with what happened? And I saw so much, no one from either side of the aisle should want there to be any issues with election integrity in our country. We should all want our elections to be free and fair, and the rules and the laws to be followed.
I think that question deserved a yes or no. And I think the length of your answer is an indication that you weren't prepared to answer yes.
Bondi's response? I saw things. What things, Pam? What did you see? Because I can tell you who else saw things. Rudy Giuliani. And he talked about what he saw. And guess what? He lost his legal license and is now on the hook for $140 million for defaming the women he accused of vote tampering. He saw it. Bondi saw things, but she does not elaborate because she's lying. So another nominee, another charade, only this time there's not a Republican in the room who's going to go against this nominee. Pam Bondi is a hack and a liar. She has shown time and again that she is nothing but a partisan hack, but Republicans don't care because they don't care about democracy. They are all on board with the fascist oligarchy that's coming down the pike. But at some point, some Democratic leaders, whether they be politicians, academics, journalists, or firemen, it doesn't matter. But at some point, somebody is going to have to lead us to start playing offense and not just defense. As these hearings show, Republicans are all behind setting up a billionaire fascist oligarchy. And although Democrats need to push against it, we also need to figure out a winning strategy to reestablish democracy. Pushing back is not a winning strategy. It's a necessary operation. Right now, it's all we have, but we need more. And I'm not talking about James Carville or any other Democratic strategist. If these strategists knew what they were talking about, we wouldn't be in this situation to begin with. We need people who know how to strategize, how to take the heartland back. We have got to stop sacrificing it and hoping that we can win these things just with urban voters. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.